economies thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is headed back.
We will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
and proper toilets
at home, at school, and at work.
We will live in a world where there is sustainable energy for everyone.
Heat, light,
and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We will live in a world where economies prosper.
And new wealth
leads to decent jobs
for everyone.
And we will live in a world
where our industry,
our infrastructure, and our
best innovations
were not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
We will live in a world
where prejudices and extremes of inequality
are defeated
inside our countries
and between different countries.
Where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
what we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back from climate change.
Where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
Where we restore and protect
life on land,
the forests,
animals,
the earth itself.
With peace between and inside countries.
Where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people
work together
in partnerships of all kinds
to make these goals a reality for everyone, everywhere.
These are the United Nations global goals
for sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Let's make it happen.
Okay, good afternoon, great ones. It's so good to have you in today's session. And on behalf of the leadership of good afternoon, I would like to confirm if you can hear me just in the comment section. I would like to confirm, okay, thank you, Dr. Akonde. It's so good to have each and every one of us joining today's session. And my name is Emmanuel Olaoluoyo, and also with me, co-moderator, Mr. Apan. It's so good to have you. Thank you very much, Becky. Thank you very much, Ekin. And this afternoon, we are going to be having a very special edition, and being organized by the Tourism and Development Program Unit of the Center for Sustainable Development, University of Ibadan. Once again, we want to welcome each and every participant joining today's session, and we can assure you that it promises to be a great session, an interactive one indeed. And I will just do this welcoming. Thank you to our speakers. I can see Dr. Abiodun on the call. Thank you for joining as early as possible. And I can see Mrs. Becky. Thank you for joining, and we sincerely appreciate the great works you are doing across the field of tourism. And this afternoon, I'm glad to welcome our coordinator of Tourism and Development Program Unit of the Center for Sustainable Development in person of Dr. Akonde, as he's going to be leading the introduction section. Good afternoon, Dr. Akonde. Thank you for joining, and thank you for hosting this event.
Good afternoon, Mr. Olaoluoyo, for a nice job. Let me start by introducing why we are here. We discovered that there is a disconnect between the town and the gown. The town is what happens in the industry, while the gown is what happens in the academia. We have a lot of students that we have produced doing well in the industry, but there seems to be a form of disconnection between us and our products. We feel that we should take the classroom to the streets while we bring the industry to the classroom. And tourism, to be specific, is an industry. Is a program that straddles between the industry and the academia. This is Center for Sustainable Development, University of Ibadan. It is the center that houses tourism and development. The program started some 12 years ago, and we have produced like 120 graduates, 10 PhD holders, and we have many captains of industry doing very well out there. And this afternoon, we have decided to bring some experts on board. But before we go to that level, let me introduce Mr. Oluwoyo again. He's the president of Sustainable Development Network. And we have Mr. Akpan Matthias. He's a PhD student. And these are the ones that will anchor this program. We also have Mrs. Sheil Ogujo. She will join later as one of the co-moderators on this program. Mr. Matthias Akpan will introduce Dr. Abiodun Temitokpe and tell us what Dr. Abiodun Temitokpe has been doing, while Mr. Oluwoyo will tell us what Mrs. Becky Oshuniyi has been doing. But let's start with Dr. Temitokpe Abiodun. Let's have his bow. When we have that, he will give his own talk, because I actually brought out him from he's a very busy person. I actually brought him out from a particular meeting. Then from there, we can move forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this welcoming introduction, Dr. Akonde. And it's so good to hear that we are bringing classroom to the streets and the industry to the classroom, getting to produce more employable youths and more innovators in line to the sustainable development and tourism sector. And thank you for the introduction once again. And also, we want to appreciate you hosting this great event. And I would like to hand over to my co-moderator, Mr. Akpan. Over to you, Mr. Akpan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege to be here, and we are all excited to be here to host this event. Like Dr. Akonde said, this event is a very, very important one, especially with the fact that something is happening in the Middle East, and it affects us right here in Nigeria. I mean, with respect to tourism. And so straight up, I'll be introducing the very first guest. It's Dr. Temitokpe Francis Abiodun. He is a renowned scholar of peace and strategic studies, politics and international relations at the Department of Peace, Security and Humanitarian Studies, University of Ibadan. He's an expert in the area of border security and migrations, intelligence analysis, military history, and peace and strategic studies. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree of Political Science with second-class upper division. He has a master's degree in international relations and PhD peace and security studies. He has won several awards as a security researcher in Nigeria, and he also had his postdoctoral research fellowship at the University of Oxford, United Kingdom in 2018-2019. Dr. Abiodun is currently a visiting scholar to the Center of Middle East and African Studies, Tel Aviv University, Tel Aviv, Israel, Center for Military Security and Strategic Studies, the University of Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and Department of International Relations and Security Studies, Toronto Metropolitan University, Ontario, Canada. Dr. Abiodun has attended and presented academic papers at the various academic conferences on peace and security, border security, intelligence, politics, military history, and global security issues, both within Nigeria and overseas. And he has published groundbreaking articles in reputable journals. His main academic interest is to develop and promote peace and security studies and produce publications geared towards ensuring lasting peace at the local, national, and regional global sphere in all ramifications. He is happily married and blessed with 3 children. Please let's make welcome Dr. Temitokpe Francis Abiodun. You have the stage now, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon. Once again, my name is Temitokpe Francis Abiodun. It's a privilege being invited to discuss the topic on the Israeli-Palestinian war, Nigerian pilgrims, tourists in dilemmas. First of all, there's need for us to conceptualize the word war, regriment, terrorism, and others. War, as we all know, according to Aristotle, he argues that we make war that we may live in peace. At the same time, according to St. Augustine, he said the purpose of war is ultimately peace. War is being fought in order to bring up peace in the society. And though several people, several philosophers, scholars, they have discussed the war as necessary evil, though it is not all that evil. Hope you are hearing me. Hello?
Yes, you are loud and clear, sir.
Okay, right. War is generally known as a violent conflict between states or nations. It's also an armed conflict between. Oh, yeah, my eyes are not seeing. Okay. Sorry, I want to change my sitting position.
All right, sir.
So can you see my face now?
We can, sir.
Yeah. No, as I was saying, war is a state of open and declared armed hostile conflict between states or nations. And as we all know, different nations in the global system, they go to war for certain reasons. If they know that the benefit to accrue from going to war outweigh that of the disadvantages, they go to war in order to get something they look for. Also, and this war we are talking about is fought in the way wars are being fought are majorly divided into two. You can fight war conventionally, you can fight war unconventionally. What do you mean by conventional? Conventional means when you carry your weapons, when you carry your army, your navy, your cavalry to go to war, and with your infantry, just to ensure that the war becomes a large scale or is fought on large scale sphere. So you carry your army, you carry your cavalry, you carry your infantry or your brigade to that war to ensure your opponents are fully annihilated or destroyed. When we talk of unconventional, so unconventional wars could be fought through psychological warfare, guerrilla warfare, espionage, chemical warfare, and terrorism. When we talk of this unconventional warfare, there is no face-to-face combat between the two opposing states. All they do is that they deploy guerrilla warfare. Probably a particular minority soldiers we just try and throw a bomb at the major civil organization of that military organization of that country. So now, at the same time, not to waste our time, reasons for fighting the war is best known when we try to look at the various war histories. And the histories and these reasons are found through the theories of historical theories, psychological theories, sociological theory, demographic theory, Marxist theory, and others. When we talk of historical theory, what is believed to be fought as a result of the various historical antecedents, historical happenings that have taken place in between that particular state and the other. For example, when we look at the current war going on between Israel and Palestine, we all know that there has been a serious cases, serious wars, serious conflicts historically between the two countries. So the two countries, they remain aggressive forever. Also, when we talk of psychological theory, another reason we could deduce for war, breaking out from that, is that when we mention psychological, all human beings, men, we are all aggressive in nature. We want to remain violent at all times. For example, look at some countries in the world. They can't stay for just 1 year without fighting a war. When we talk of those Arab nations like Iraq, Oman, Yemen, and others, so they are all aggressive in nature. So that is psychological theory summation. Also, when we talk of sociological theory, from this sociological theory, we find out that there are several socio-economic and political factors that are causing conflicts or war between two nations. Also, when we talk of demographic, the demographic theory submits that under demographic theory, we have Malthusian theory and we have youth birth theory. When we talk of Malthusian, that means the existing population in the country is higher than the existing economic facilities on ground in that particular country. As a result of this, war will break out. And without wasting our time, we also have rationalist theories. According to the submission of the rationalists, submit that everybody that goes to war, they have their own reason for going to war. Their reason for going to war is highly rational in nature. So don't say because Palestine is going to war all the time, Arab is going to war all the time, Syria is going to war all the time. They are rational. They are going to war is rational in nature. So it is based on rational thinking. So that is that. Economic theories. So we all know that when we have economic crisis, people tend to go to war. People tend to fight war, be in conflict with each other. So thereafter, according to Marxists, and we went with one of the reasons for going to war with the Marxist theories. Marxist theories, he said, the history of hitherto existing war is the history of class struggle. There is no way war will not be fought all the time because there are classes in the society. We have the bourgeoisie, the rich men, the powerful men, and we have the proletariat, the poor men, the oppressed. So the oppressed will always want to fight war against the bourgeoisie. That is the summation according to Marxist theory. Now, this war we're talking about, how are they fought? How is war conducted? How do we conduct war? People go to war with thinking that they have to seize the entire country from the opponents. With the belief that they have to destroy everything destroyable in that opponent's country. And also, we have to ensure we destroy their military capabilities so that they won't be able to fight any war in the future. So those are the three ways through which wars are conducted globally. Now, and this war we are talking about, it has been limited in several ways. It could be limited in several ways. One, through law. So through litigation or through legal means or others. So we have to, one, according to international law, before you can fight a global war, you have to ensure that people that are innocent, pressmen, are not attacked. You have to ensure you have to know, you have to be very sure that you don't use a very powerful weapons for ordinary civil war. You cannot use an ordinary small weapon to fight a larger war. So that means you have to know you have to be aware of the kind of weapons to be deployed. And you don't just attack anyhow. Some people are, during the war, some people are wearing blue berets, some people are wearing white berets, some people are wearing red berets. So when you see people wearing blue berets, you can't just attack them. So according to international law that guides the rules of engagement when we are going to war. Also, law could be conducted, law could be limited to the economic logistics. For example, if you have exhausted the nation, if you have exhausted them of their weapons, exhausted them of their capabilities, exhausted them of their accessibilities and others, even those who are fighting wars, they will cease to go to war again. For example, now, between Israel and Palestine now, Israel is gaining more power, is getting more support from the US, from Germany, and others, while Palestine is getting nothing from any other country. As time goes on, Palestine will cease from fighting that war because they have exhausted all the economic logistics. So that means the ongoing war will be limited through that means. Also, the last one, which is a termination of war. The law could be terminated through a ceasefire. there could be an agreement, there could be a negotiation, there could be a ceasefire that we should cease fighting for 2 weeks or 1 month or 1 year or a decade. So those are the 3 major ways through which wars will be limited. Now, looking at the various, the state of Israel and Palestinian situation. From between the year 1922 and 1948, the land was legally under the auspices of the British government. And that land that housed both Israelis and Palestine, the land was officially called Palestine in English. And in Arabic language, it was called Palestine, and in Jewish language, it was called Palestina. So now, but exactly on May 14, 1948, the leader of Jewish Association, that's the Ben Gurion then, he made a proclamation to announce a state of Israel, to establish a state of Israel. That means he has discontinued the earlier existing name, the Palestine, because the country was initially Palestine, but through the pronouncement of David Ben Gurion in 1948, the state was later named the State of Israel. And that was the basis of the crisis, the basis of war between the Jewish community and the Palestinians. Because they were saying, this country belongs to all of us. Why did you name it on your own alone? It should bear both Palestine or Israel. Why only Israel? So, and since then, immediately that announcement was made in 1948 by Ben Gurion, establishing the State of Israel. The then President of the US, that's Harry Truman, he immediately recognized the State of Israel and admitted the state into the UN, United Nations, instantly. So that was the beginning of the crisis. So now, that is you could see that Israel we're talking about, Israel is surrounded by aggressive enemies. Israel is surrounded by Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, Jordan to the east, and Egypt to southeast, while Mediterranean Sea to the west. So all these neighbors, they are aggressive in nature. And Israel has been spending huge amount of money in order to protect its own territory since all these years. Now, but when it was exactly in 1967, there was a particular war that was fought between Israel and the various aggressive neighbors, with Jordan, with Egypt, and Syria. We call that war a 6-day war in 1967. But from that war, Egypt was able to defeat all the 3 Arab armies. It defeated Egypt, defeated Jordan, and defeated Syria. So from that, after the defeat, Israel was able to gain more territory to its own existing one. That was why it was able to expand towards the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, and West Bank of Jerusalem, and also East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights. I was there. I was fortunate to be part of the researchers that visited the Golan Heights. It was a very big place that was captured by Israel in 1967. Now, all these years, Hamas we're talking of Hamas of Palestine. There is a difference between Hamas government and the Palestinian government. Hamas is a militant government in Palestine. We have the Palestinian military forces and we have the Hamas militant forces on their own. Palestinian military forces, they are always afraid to contact or to wage war against the Hamas militant because they have enough weapons at their disposal, which they combat, they go to war with any warring nation. So now, Hamas, since 2006, has been controlling the Gaza Strip since 2006. Hamas, that particular location or territory was ceded to Hamas by the Palestinian government, that we should let the cat, the sleeping dog to lie. So that was why they ceded that particular region to them. So that particular region has been controlled has been under the control of Hamas militants since then. And at the same time, Hamas is having in Gaza, under the control of the Hamas, we have over 2 million Palestinians living under them, under the control, under the rule of Hamas militants. And since then, Hamas have been resistant to Israel. They are the ones fighting the cause of Palestine against Israel. Palestinian forces, they are docile in nature, while it is only Hamas militants that are confronting Israel, fighting the cause of Palestine all this while. So on October 8th, on Sunday, October 8th, there was a surprise attack on Israel, sharing the border with Israel at the Gaza Strip. They were caught unaware. They destroyed the intelligence structure of Israel, and they were able to penetrate into Israel. They killed thousands of Israelis, and that was the reason Israeli government is now launching a retaliatory attack on the Palestinian territory, and also destroying all the shackles, all the weapons of Hamas. But today, is it possible for them to wipe off Hamas on the surface of this earth? Which to me is not possible. It's not possible because Hamas has spread all over the various nations in the world. They have supporters, they have warriors, they have fighters all over. So now, when we talk of the various implications on tourism, Nigerian tourism, and pilgrims going to the state of Israel. Now, first of all, there is a fear, there is palpable fear in the minds of every tourist, every pilgrim going to Israel for pilgrimage activities. Nobody could go now before everybody is just calling his or relative, please stop going to Israel for now for that pilgrimage purpose. And at the same time, to Muslims or to Christians, they believe their faith is being affected, their religion is being affected, it's being disturbed. At the same time, there are most of those tourist places we are talking about have been destroyed. They are no more in good shape as they used to be in the past. Most of these places have been destroyed through missiles and others. Because I could remember a time last year I was with the University of Tel Aviv for a program. So I was with them for eight months in Tel Aviv University. So I was fortunate to go to Gaza Strip. Immediately we got to Gaza Strip, the hotelier, the owner of the hotel, we were lodged then. The owner of the hotel called us, invited us, and instructed to us that, please, professors, please, anytime you are in your room and you hear a siren blowing, please, either you are wearing clothes or not, make sure you run out of your room and run into the various bomb shelters built around. So through that one, because I spent 2 weeks in Gaza Strip then for that particular research. I couldn't sleep all through throughout those 2 weeks. So, but thank God there was no siren blown then. Now, another implication on tourism, tourist and pilgrimage activities is that another one is that several jobs have been lost by the managers of these tourist centers. So if I'm going for pilgrimage in Israel now, who are the people to attend to me there? Who are the people to take me around? Who are the people to explain or to interpret Jewish language to me? Because most of them, they don't speak English. They always speak Jewish language. For example, if you want to say, come on, let's go. You hear them say, yalla, 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 yalla. Yo, come. Yalla, balagan. Come, let us go. So that is, so you have to learn, they are the ones teaching you the languages, and with that, your pilgrimage activity, your tourism activity will be very smooth with you. And another problem is, one, there have been depreciation in currency exchange rates now. For you to travel from Nigeria to Israel for pilgrimage activity now we are facing a lot of currency devaluation. If you want to, for this, as at this morning now, the rate, the conversion rate between Nigerian naira and US dollar is 1,310 naira. this has taken toll on tourists or those who are planning pilgrimage activities. These are part of the implications. Also, most of the various hotels that all these pilgrims and all these tourists will lodge over there, most of the hotels are shut down. Most of the hotels are shut down. Everybody is running helter-skelter. So if you go for pilgrimage, you will enjoy it. So everybody over there, they are not in good shape. I have a friend that usually calls me every day, gives me his own situation of side of the story over there. They have not been able to go to the this why as a sort of all these crises. At the same time, the transport companies moving people to those tourist centers, they have shut down. They are no more in business. They are no more in business. Also, the most of the airlines they are shutting down. They are not flying the route to Israel because of the ongoing war and the crisis between Palestinians and Israelis. So to me, it has been a serious issue. There will be Nigerian tourists and pilgrims. They are not in serious dilemma now. They don't know what to do. But the only thing is that they should, for now, they should stay safe in their country. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how they continue or embark on our pilgrimage activities or tourist activities over there. Thank you.
Emmanuel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Dr. Abiodun, for this detailed. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Dr. Abiodun, please. I want to say it in the comment section. Let's appreciate him for this detailed overview and which he has shared on the implications of a global peace as the situation is happening in Israel and Palestine. And right about now, before we move to the Q&A session, Doctor, please, we would like to crave your indulgence. You are still going to be with us. We know that you have a very busy day because we would like to take the second speaker first before we take questions. And I can see hands up already. Please, you can use the comment section to drop your questions ahead of time. While in notes, we are going to note each and every question you want to ask. But before that, we are going to be taking the second session, which is pilgrim stories from Nigeria and their dilemma in the face of war. This session is going to be handled by another industry expert we have in the house, in person of Mrs. Becky Oshuni, and I'm going to be reading his profile shortly. Mrs. Becky Oshuni is a group specialist travel director with over 18 years of experience leading escorted tours around the world. She is a passionate traveler with a deep knowledge of history, culture, and geography. She's also a skilled storyteller and educator, and she loves sharing her experience with others. Rebecca Oshuni has led tours to over 25 countries across 6 continents. She has a special interest in Asian travel, and she has led tours to all the major Asian destinations, as well as many of the beaten path locations. She is also an expert in technical tours, and she has led technical tours for Nigeria engineers since 2005. In addition to her work as a travel director, Rebecca is also a support to families seeking second citizenship programs. Her work has been published in a variety of travel magazines and websites. She is a regular speaker at travel conferences and events. And this afternoon, we are so glad to have Mrs. Rebecca Oshuni, who is going to be leading the second session. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Madam Rebecca.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much, Dr. Abiodun. You actually nailed it down. And I was sitting here just saying, why have I been invited? Because apart from being a security expert, you have delved into tourism, and there's really not much else that I could add. But what I'm going to do today is I'll just add a few tourism figures. Like I'll say in 2019, 4.5 million pilgrims went to Israel. Israel, Jordan, and that axis, the Middle East, Egypt. And then you have in 2020, when there was COVID, 831,000 tourists also visited Israel. Then in 2003, we have not done the remaining part of the year. We have 2.5 million tourists entering before the war. That is how much people value going on pilgrimage. So I would take it from a different angle. He's giving us everything that we need. Honestly, I'm just going to say that, like, okay, so who is a pilgrim? A pilgrim is a person who journeys to a sacred place for religious reasons. So somebody wants to connect with themselves. They have an issue. They feel, if I go to this certain place, I will be all right. So it's not just Jerusalem or Israel. You find, like he mentioned, I work majorly with engineers from the Society of Engineers. When they have their election, I'm not talking of Nigerian presidency. I'm not talking of governorship. I'm talking of national elections of engineers. Some of them will go to Mecca to pray. They will go to Mecca to pray. They feel, if I get close to God, I can analyze myself and see if I'm a good fit for the job, and I need divine support. So Nigerians, by the grace of God, are just those kind of people. I use by the grace of God, no matter what they are serving or what they are doing, because if it had not been for some divine elements, I'm sure our country would have disintegrated by now. But somehow people are able to, like, I'm going to Mecca, I'm going to Jerusalem, I'm going to the Wailing Wall to pray, and they feel like they've connected with something. So simply put, a pilgrim is somebody that journeys to a place, like an unknown place, or maybe he's been there before, or it's just his first time. And that person goes there to actually like have an inflection, to look at, who am I? And then maybe they may fast, they may just walk around, but many times they have something at the back of their mind while they are going there. It may not have any significance for the people living there. Like Israelis are basically not Christians. They practice Judaism. They follow the laws of Moses. But for us who are Christians, it's very huge. Like, have you been to Jerusalem and all of that? And people have personal transformation after their pilgrimages. So Nigeria, I'll come back to Nigeria. Nigeria is divided evenly. Like we have predominantly North that are Muslims. Then we have predominantly South that are Christians. And in these two areas of Nigeria, people travel largely for pilgrimages. So for the Christian pilgrimages, is done twice a year. Same thing with the Muslim. They go for the larger Umrah and they go for the smaller one. And it's very, very imperative. It's very important to them to partake in this thing once, even if it's once in their lifetime, they will definitely go. So concerning the Israeli-Hamas war, Dr. Abiodun has already told us the origin of these quarrels and fighting, how the British gave Israel a state and how everything. So I'm not going to repeat all of that. What I'll just add here is that every year, Nigeria sends 18,000 people to Israel. 18,000. That is a lot. And you are talking of hotels, you're talking of tour guides, you're talking about airfares, you're talking about transfers, local transfers, pick from the airport and drop off. You're talking about food vendors. You're talking about relics that people will buy and bring back. So many things that are involved. So you can just imagine an economy that war comes in. All this are shut down. There's nothing happening. So it's just like a pre-COVID in your mind, like, oh, nobody's going to buy my food. How can you even go to get the food when everywhere is shaking? Like it's so bad that, like he said, once you hear the siren, you better run to the bomb shelters, or whatever happens is not it's not anybody's concern. So this has been so bad. Like Lagos State had 310 pilgrims. When the war started, they were like, no, it's not a problem. We can visit, everything is fine. And they went. But after the shelling started, they ran to Jordan. They went by road to Jordan. And even they did that, like at some point where they were there, because Hamas actually carried out that attack using parachutes. They saw people, as in the Nigerians saw people landing with white parachutes. And it's like, what's going on? From a distance, because like the desert area. And before you know, Gaza is like that. Before you know, it had gotten out of hand. So they all ran to, or rather evacuated or repatriated to Jordan. And from there, Lagos sent an aircraft that repatriated everybody home. So for those who have not left, they are like, we are praying that it's going to be over before the end of the year. But I'm telling you that many tour operators have canceled all their trips between now and the end of the year. Many countries, I'm talking of Oman, Morocco, UAE, Jordan, Egypt, Spain, even Spain and Portugal, they've had to cancel all their events, all their tours, all their stuff that's happening. They've had to cancel it. So that's the issue that is going on in the Middle East. And it affects us here in Nigeria. Between now and Christmas, it's a very good time for us to sell. Like if you're a tour operator, you go around, people go in 10s, group of 10, 10 is a group, 20, 50, even 100, going to Egypt. I mean, going to Egypt, to Jordan, to Oman, into that axis, especially to Israel, because they want to see this or that. But now, nothing is going to be happening. Everybody, no tickets, no airlines, no land operators, nothing. So that's going to affect a lot of countries in terms of their economic boom. Like Nigeria is definitely going to affect us, because even if people want to go, they are scared. Their families will not like them to go. And, you know, security-wise, it is not safe. So I think the punch of October 12th, it is said that some Nigerians were in a hotel. And as soon as they left, 3 hours after they left, the hotel was attacked. So it's that bad. Like, what are you doing there? Can't you see there's war? So I would say that between Bethlehem and Nazareth, there's a lot to see, but there's a lot to run from. I'm not even talking of Gaza, where it's happening. Where it's not happening, nobody wants to go there. So I would say this thing happening, this war, Hamas and Israel, it's very, very huge. It affects the travel world, it affects IATA, it affects every country that sells into their region. It's not just their fight alone. It affects pilgrims all over the world. So that's what I will add so that we will not prolong it. Doctor has said majority of everything that we should learn. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
That was very, very insightful. Thank you so very much for your knowledge, for sharing your knowledge of how it affects Nigeria, how it affects tourism, how it affects us as individuals. All right, we will be going straight to the question and answers sessions. I know that our listeners have so many questions for both Dr. Abiodun and Mrs. Becky Oshuneye. So if you would like to ask a question, please, could you please signify so that you can go ahead and unmute your mic and direct your questions to either Dr. Abiodun or Mrs. Becky Oshuneye. Thank you. However, while we wait for, okay, I see Ojelade. Ojelade, could you please unmute your mic so that we can hear you?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I joined the program very late, but the little that I was able to hear from our emeritus Madam Becky, I'm really blessed. Anyway, I want to come from my own angle that can we say that this war is having some economical effects on our country, apart from looking at it from the tourist side? Because you can see that things, though we may not be directly fighting war, but you know, the whole world is a kind of system that we are related. So can we say that it's also affecting our country? What are those things that, do we have anything apart from going on pilgrimage? Do we have anything coming from that axis that are not coming as a result of the war? So I just want to know what's the economic effect of the war on our economy in Nigeria. Thank you.
Did you direct the question specifically to Dr. Abiodun or Mrs. Becky Oshuneye?
Okay, let me assist answering her question. Yeah, she asked if the war has effects on Nigerian economy. Seriously, it's impacting negatively on the Nigerian economy as we speak. Israel is known for when we talk of the citrus industry in the global system, we talk of Israel. They have a lot of fruits. Most of our citrus industry in Nigeria, they get their products from Israel. Those producing chivita, those producing juice, those producing other things. They get several fruits from Israel. I remember during my 8-month stay in Israel, every 2 hours, they bring a basket full of fruits to my room. I used to question them when it was getting too much, that please stop bringing this. Because later on, I asked them that, please, how do you guys produce fruits when you have no rain, you have no water, there's nothing existing? So then they took me to their farmlands. And it was then I got to know that they are practicing irrigation system. They have irrigated all their lands, so all those crops are being wetted by through irrigation system. No, now as far as citrus industry is concerned in the global system, Israel is the best. So they export citrus, fruits, etc., bananas, drinks to all the various countries in the world. Through that, they promote the economy. And as far as that is concerned now, industry is seriously affected in Nigeria. And now the only industry that could manage to produce those things, they are spending in a higher amount, inflated amounts. So that is seriously impacting negatively on our economy. And at the same time, our country, Nigeria, used to budget certain amount of money for pilgrims and tourist activities for people in the country. And as of now, those funds cannot be expended because there's no room for that. There's no room for pilgrimage activity going to Israel. So the money still remains in government coffers. But if the money is spent now on tourists or pilgrims, everybody will benefit from that, and it will go into individual Nigerian economy. But as it is now, it is a serious problem. So it's affecting us in several. And at the same time, we have several airlines, Nigerian Airlines, Air Peace is flying from Lagos to Israel. But now there is a problem. The airlines are grounded. They can't fly from Lagos to Israel because it's affecting our economy. So all those things, all those benefits, revenues, generation would have gone into our economy. But now there is a serious crisis. So it's affecting Nigerian economy in all ramifications. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We are very grateful for that answer. I was actually going to ask you a question in that direction. But before I ask you my question, I see a hand here. I see Ogujo's hand. Could you please unmute your mic and let's have a question.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And I want to appreciate Dr. Abiodun. I don't know if everybody are hearing me. For the way you've actually answered the question asked earlier. But we discovered that if all these things are actually affecting us in terms of revenue generation and also the money that's been budgeted for the people that are supposed to travel on a pilgrimage assignments, some they do travel, though due to what we are being taught, there are different regions of tourism. We have religious tourism, and this is one of it, whereby the Muslims travel to Mecca and also the Christians travel to Israel, Jerusalem. And this has been affecting airlines and also the tourist experts. So my question now goes to as a tourist expert, it goes to Madam Becky. In what way do you feel that we can actually combat these issues, the effects of all these wars in different countries, like the ones that is happening right now in Gaza and Israel, whereby the tourists will not be able to travel? What can the Nigerian government do? What are the things that the tourists can actually do aside the religious tourism, even if it is religious tourism, whereby everybody can actually benefit from it in Nigeria instead of traveling out? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. So what can be done is that the government can create a miniature Israel in Nigeria. Like if you go to, they have Little London, Little Italy, in different countries. Right here in Nigeria, they can create a mini Israel, like those places, those sites that we go to see, or a mini Saudi. It's not the real thing, but it's just a place. Like they can choose a location. Like I'm just using this as an example because I live in Lagos. Like if you go towards Epe, there are beaches, free land, and all of that. Some place where they can create something like that. And then they'll have videos and interactive things that even from Israel, they've been recorded, pre-recorded, and people can come there and still enjoy it and have that feel. I don't know, like sometimes, like if you go to Dubai, they always try to create things that are outside their region, in their region. Like if you, there are skating rinks in Dubai. They don't have snow, but if you go to the skating rink, you will see that they've put some technology on that makes the floor to be ice and people be skating on it as though it's real. If you go to South Africa, you will see such things. They will create fake trees, fake stuff. Everywhere is fake. There's a part of China I've been to in Zhangjiagang. If you go there, you would think you're in Europe, but it's not Europe at all. They created all those coffee tables outside during lunch hour. It's so real that you ask yourself, am I in Europe? So I think Nigerian government can invest heavily in creating a mini Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Gaza, whatever we go to see there. They'll create it, bring the people here, let them come and create the experience. Like when you get into it, you have that feel that, oh, I feel as though I am in this place. So I think like when you go to Disneyland, Disney creates a lot of experience. I keep saying that in tourism, we don't have anything tangible that we are selling. Like somebody can say, I'm selling a biro, I'm selling a laptop, no, we sell experience, we sell feeling, we sell things that you cannot, like tangible things that you cannot touch. And that is what I would suggest that Nigerian government can do and harness and take in the revenue. Aside from that, who wants to now travel to go and see the real thing can go. But for the meantime, while there's all kinds of crises, right here in Nigeria, we can enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very, very much for that. I don't know how my question has been entering into the minds of people, and how my question has been asked already. I was going to ask Dr. Abiodun, from international relations perspective, what implications, what opportunities, this has for Nigeria, the war in the Middle East, what implications it has for Nigeria in terms of politics. I know that we are mostly discussing tourism right here, but politics affects tourism. How it affects Nigeria in terms of the type of relationship that exists between the two countries, because Nigeria is highly a religious country, and the tourism that sells outside Nigeria is mostly religious tourism. So, sir, in your own wisdom, how does this war in the Middle East affect the international relations between Nigeria and the Middle East?
Yeah, thank you. That's a beautiful question. Now, it is now that the international community is looking at the various states in the global system now. Where do you belong to? Do you belong to A or do you belong to B? Now, this is where we can bring up the policy of either alignment or non-alignment. Are you aligning with Israel, or you are not aligning with Palestinians? So now, it is now that the global system knows where a particular state or country belongs to in the global system. And as far as Nigerian case is concerned, Nigeria is taking the cue behind the Western world, being led by the US, UK, and others. So I'm sure Nigeria is taking the cue, is aligning with the Western policies. So as far as Western policy is concerned, they are the ones supporting Israel. They are the ones deploying weapons. They are the ones carrying weapons, moving weapons into Israel. While at the same time, some states, they are also aligning with Hamas and the Palestinians, like Iraq, like Oman, like Yemen. But as far as those states are concerned, they are not as wealthy or richer as the Western world is. So now it has brought a serious problem or serious enlightenment, education, to know where each particular country belongs to in the global system. If Nigeria comes up clearly that she aligns with Israel, what of if at the end of the day, Hamas are able to defeat Israel? What will be the fate of Nigeria? But as far as that case is concerned, Palestinians, they don't have anything to offer Nigeria. So Nigeria has been gaining a lot from Israel. So Nigeria aligns with Israel. So that is the politics of it, and international politics that is playing out around there. And at the same time, if you look at the various weapons being deployed from the Western world to Israel, compared to the kind of weapons being deployed from the Arab nations to Palestinians, to Hamas territory, like Iraq, Oman, Yemen. So you will observe that those weapons, they are not of standard as those of the Western world. So it is very glaring that the Western world, whoever they back, is winning the war. But the problem there is that if at the end of the day, we observe that the war is won by Israelis, are they going to tell us that they have completely wiped out Hamas, which is not possible? So that is the problem in it. But at the same time, now, most of the various Arab nations, Egypt, Iraq, Oman, Yemen, Syria, and others now, that are pulling their support for Israel, for Palestine and Hamas. But most of them, they are feeling the heat, because most of the various facilities, most of the various benefits they're supposed to have been getting from them, from the country now, those things have ceased. They are no more getting citrus, no more getting fruits, no more getting oil, no more getting so isolated as far as that issue is concerned. So the international politics there is that the world is being won by the Western world, Western-backed nation, which is Israel. So, but to me, all I see very soon is that there will be a ceasefire, there will be a negotiation, there will be a halt to the war that's ongoing, because most of those countries supporting Palestine, they cannot offer Palestine the benefits, the huge support required to actually win the war against Israel. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Abiodun, for that insightful answer. And yes, okay. I was going to ask Dr. Mrs. Becky Oshuniyi a question, but before then, I see a hand. Please, we'll be rounding up very, very soon, in just about a few minutes from now. So if you have questions, I need you to signify so that we can quickly fit into the time we have. So I see Olaleye Tinoye. Could you please unmute your mic and go ahead with your question?
Thank you so much, Dr. Abiodun and Stephanie. Well, actually, I want to direct my question to Dr. Abiodun. How does Israel Hamas war affect the voice in Nigeria? How does the war affect the voice in Nigeria? I've been hearing a lot of how does it affect the
okay. Let me I want to give you a statistics. Like, Nigeria actually exports things to Israel, just the way Israel exports things to us. And our main export to them is crude petroleum. And for the past year, we did $86.7 million sending them oil. And we also send oily seeds to them. $2.68 million was what we have sold before the war started. And wood charcoal, we export charcoal to them. $1.8 million of charcoal has been sent to Israel, and Israel has paid Nigeria. Now, but during the past 26 years and all of that, things have been going up. Even this year, we have like 22.4 increase in our export to Israel. So that definitely is going to be affected. What are they using charcoal for? Yeah, like people like to have barbecues, all sorts of things. They like Dr. Abiodun has told you, it's irrigation they are using. So they don't have trees to fell and burn and stuff like that. So definitely it will impact on our economy, because where are we going to export those things to? There's nowhere. There's war. Everybody's running up and down. They're enlisting people. Where are they going to buy? Who is going to buy? Nobody's going to buy anything. I'm told that by my great uncle that when there was war in Nigeria, they were eating leaves. They did not even know the name. Inside the bush, they ran. So when they said, let's just try this one. If it pains us, we'll not eat it again. Let's try another one. So people are running for their lives. They are definitely not thinking about what they are going to buy from Nigeria. So that will definitely impact on our economy. Thank you. I don't know if I answered the question, but I was trying to just add those facts.
Thank you, Mrs. Becky. I think, was the question answered? Do you feel satisfied?
I don't know if Dr. Abiodun can add something to it for
us. Hello. I would actually appreciate it if they can buttress more on the oil sector.
On what, please? It's not so clear to me. That's why.
Oil sector, as in oil.
Oil sector.
Sorry, please. Hello, everybody. Please, can we just limit our questions to tourism, not oil sector? We are not really dealing with oil sector. We are dealing with how it has affected the transportation sector, how it has affected the hospitality sector, how it has affected attraction itself. You know, Israel is a point of attraction for religious purpose, so that we can continue our debate after this short moment. But let's limit our questions to all this, because we are coming up with policy implications that will guide the tourism sector. That's why we have brought these two experts, Mrs. Oshonoye, who is in the industry, and Dr. Abiodun, who is a security expert. We are coming up with tourism implementation, policy implementation for the tourism sector. So let's limit it down. Let's see how we can round up the shortest possible time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us back to order. Dr. Abiodun said a few things about alignment, alignment for the two regions, for Nigeria and for Middle East. And with respect to alignment, what is more obvious to us from this end is the religious alignment. So I want to ask Mrs. Becky Oshonoye, what are the implications of these alignments to tourism in Nigeria, seeing that most travels in Nigeria are based on religious travels to some of them to this Middle Eastern country?
Okay, like we said before, a lot of businesses will be impacted. Number one, local transfers. So let's say now I have a group that is in Victoria Island and they are going to Israel. We have to rent a bus and then we'll buy fuel from a filling station. So the filling station makes money, the bus company makes money. The people that will transport them from VI to the international airport makes money. Airport tax will be collected. There's QR, there's OS, fuel tax will be collected. Landing tax will be collected. All those taxes have disappeared because there's nobody who is going to go. Another thing is this: if we sell tickets here, like globally, IATA checks how many tickets you are buying, which country is moving. They check those stats and it helps. So Nigerians move a lot. You have a lot of Igbo people moving up and down, Yorubas moving up and down, and Hausas. You have different tribes that they are business minded or they're going for cultural troops and all of that. They cannot go because things are changing. The war is affecting things. It's like when you want to go to Israel, you don't need some terrible visa process. I write, they'll deny me. I write, they deny me. Israel is not like that. They want you to come. They will arrange for you as long as you have the agent that is going to help you bring it to pass. They will allow you to come. So when you come, you are making money for that person. There are families that are feeding in Nigeria from tourism. So buying a trip at all, going towards any of those regions, you are feeding, paying school fees for people, you are paying Lagos state tax, you are fixing the roads in Nigeria. But if those things are not there anymore, nothing is going to happen. There will be a lull, everywhere will be quiet. You can, if there's a travel agency or tour operator that is focused on that region, the Middle East, what are they going to be doing now? They probably will have to look for another side business to carry them through until the thing is passed. So that's what I would like to add. Like, it's not even going to bring any kind of revenue because of war. The revenue you are going to see is people that are selling rifles and people that are selling bombs, people that are selling things that's used for war, or bandages, plasters, medicines, and those kind of things. Those are the kind of businesses that will boom in that era. Just like COVID. When COVID came, sanitizer became gold, face masks became gold. It's the same thing here. Thank you very much. Please, have I answered the question?
Yes, you did. And that was very much in line with what Dr. Akonde said, the implications of these things for tourism. And surprisingly, you were even able to give a local perspective to this implication. I was expecting international perspective, but it was very, very important that you gave a local perspective to this implication, seeing that tourism is also affected in Nigeria with respect to transport system, with respect to even the hospitality industry. I mean, people have to lodge before they lodge in an hotel before they eventually, travel by air, and most of the time in the same hotel, so that everybody could be together. And it also has implications for the Nigerian economy, like our second guest have been able to tell us, Dr. Abiodun, how that it affects transactions within the country. So we have all seen that. Yes, I see Dr. Abiodun's hand. Dr. Abiodun, could you please go on?
Yeah, thank you. I quickly want to add something. This ongoing war, has seriously negatively impacted tourism and pilgrimage activities. For example, the major 5 components of tourism are: 1, attraction. There must be an attraction. There must be accessibility. There must be accommodation. There must be amenities. There must be activities. Let's start from the first one, attraction. Is Israel now attractive? Is this still attractive to people? Though it could be attractive physically, but in our minds, is it actually attractive to us to go there now for tourism, for pilgrimage activity? It is completely no. The second one, accessibility. Is it accessible now? How do we find ourselves? How do we leave Nigeria for Israel now? Because if you are going to Israel, you get to Israel either through Turkey, Istanbul, or you go through Egypt. So those 2 countries, those two routes, they are not accessible now. So now it has impacted negatively on the various tourist activities. Also, the third one, accommodation. Where do you want to stay? Do you want to stay in New Jerusalem, or you want to stay in Gaza, or you want to stay in Tel Aviv, or you want to stay in Nazareth? In fact, even those who are fortunate to stay in the hotels there, they are sleeping with their one eye closed. So everybody is running helter-skelter. The fourth one, the amenities. Most of those tourist centers have been destroyed by the flying missiles on daily basis. We have Old Jerusalem and we have New Jerusalem. Old Jerusalem, that is where you have those tourist attractions, those old temples, old synagogue, and all those things. Why the New Jerusalem? That's where you find people living, because the Israelis, they have abandoned residing in old Israel, old Jerusalem. They are now living in the New Jerusalem. That's where they have modern buildings, modern structures, and others. So those things are no more there. They are part of this thing have destroyed. The last one, which is activities. Are there tourist activities now? Even ask any Israeli Ask them if they are ready to go for tourism. Everybody's staying indoor. Even when we talk of tourism, pilgrimage is not their song again. So for now, everything is suspended. So it has impacted negatively the sector, the tourism and the pilgrimage sector, the Israeli-Palestinian war. It has seriously negatively impacted tourism and pilgrimage. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so very much, sir. That was very, very insightful. You have also given us an international perspective to the effects of and the implications of this war to tourism and how it affects Nigeria. And at this point in time, I would like to hand over to the program coordinator, the person of Dr. Akonde, who will give us, who will help us run.
I just want to appreciate everybody. But before I do that, let me give a brief summary of what we have discussed here. We have discussed that a plethora of opportunities are now available for us as a nation to prepare. This is that we can benefit from the crisis. Becky has just told us, Mrs. Oshunuyi, that in Dubai, efforts are made to give artificial snows, artificial lakes, this and that. I think this is an opportunity for Nigeria to create our own, maybe Israel, somewhere where people can go. Most of what people go to see in Israel, we can get maybe a large expanse of land. Let all these things be there. And the skeleton of Goliath, where Jesus was buried, we know it's not real, but we still have a handful of people that want to visit that place. Then some other visions, some people actually go to Palestine, some of our Muslim brothers. We can create some of the features that are in Palestine, somewhere in Nigeria as well, so that people can at least in the interim satisfy their curiosity, because tourism actually thrives on curiosity for now. Number two is that those that are in the business, traveling agencies, people that are taking people through transportation, I think it's an opportunity for them to see new destinations. They should open up new destinations. Where were the Israelites coming from? The Jews, where were they before? Can we go towards that side and take some of our people there that when they were dislocated, these were the people, these are the places they have been before 1948. This is where they have been residing. Majority of them are there. Number three, I think our government should be very strategic. Dr. Abiodun has said it, that we cannot afford to actually align with any of the two parties. We cannot support Palestine nor against Palestine. We cannot support Israel or go against Israel. What we should do now is that we become friends to all and enemy to none. Because who can say what will happen? Palestine may not win the war at the end of the day, but they have sympathizers who are friends, like Egypt, like Syria, several other countries that are friends to Palestine. So if we choose to align with Israel, are they going to be our friends? Again, many of our, for example, the richest Nigerian, Dangote went to school in Egypt. That same party will always be there. So it is not the time for Nigeria to align with any of these parties. What we can just do is to see whether we can mediate. Number four is to let our government realize that it's high time we make Nigeria lucrative, attractive to foreigners as well. Because of this issue of insecurity in Nigeria, although we don't fight the kind of war they are fighting now, everybody knows that Palestine and Israel, they are fighting. But there are a lot of internal crises, insecurity in Nigeria, that is making Nigeria to become an attractive destination for potential tourists. I think our government should look inward in that direction. Now, how do they do that one? We can create local guards. When tourists are coming from the airport, we guide them from the airport to their destinations. At that level, we're making a lot from tourism. On this note, I want to appreciate everybody, especially the participants. If you have not participated, this online room will have been very empty. And having said that, let me appreciate Mr. Matthias Akpan. He's a very tenacious, ambitious PhD candidate in our Department of Tourism. I want to thank you for your effort. I want to particularly thank Mr. Emmanuel Olowoyo. Is one of the ones the young ones are looking up to, and he's always willing to take up responsibilities, and he has done that very effectively. Let me appreciate Mrs. Becky Oshuniyi. She said she was coming out from the France embassy because she had a very busy schedule, and she's been able to do justice because she's in the industry. And that is why we want people like that here. We don't want to just limit our knowledge acquisition to the four walls of the classroom. We want to see what is happening in the industry. Finally, let me appreciate Dr. Temitope Abiodun. He has been a very good friend and mentor. He has been very helpful in this academic journey. We were actually inside the meeting, and he just had to excuse himself so that he will attend to this seminar. You can see that he has traveled all over, and I didn't even know. That means I still have the Spirit of God. Sometimes I used to doubt whether I have the Spirit of God. I didn't even know he stayed 8 months in Israel. Now he's telling us life experiences from Israel. So I didn't know, you can see that all things are now working together to favor us. And I want to appreciate you, Dr. Abiodun. We'll still be calling on you when there is need. I want to tell everybody in the house that we are going to convert this, probably upload them on the YouTube, then publish as policy papers. You know, we are just going to do a follow-up to what we have done here, so that people in the industry, people in administration, people in politics, everybody will understand what is going on and how to get the best out of the worst case scenario. And on this note, let's bring it to an end. Our next seminar, I want all of you to come and invite some other people in the industry, not just in the academy. I've seen people in the industry here. I want the crowd, the followers, the listeners, the people that will benefit to continue to increase on daily basis. It is then that they will know that the universities are doing a great deal. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Akonde, for that closing remark. You've appreciated our speakers and our listeners. Specifically, we had Dr. K. Balogun, who joined us. People joined us from across Europe.
Please help me acknowledge Dr. Laide. Olawale Olaide.
Olawale Olaide too. There's Abimbola Ibidapo, Yekini Adedayo, Adejimi Elijah, Akinloye, Dr. Olawale Olaide, yes. Continental Aviation also joined us, Jacob Abiola Badegesins, a Samsung Galaxy user. There's Kunle Ibidapo, there's Tolu Alashel, Moshala, Bolanle Faswat, Bande Fazak, Rachel Ojelade, Olaleye Tinoye, Apurovo, Henry, Moses Eyemi, Kelly Yakubu, Agnes, one of our speakers, Dr. Shuniyi, and Dr. Abiodun, our excellent speakers, the program coordinator, Dr. Akonde. Thank you so very much. Emmanuel Olowoyo, we want to thank all of you for joining us on this program today.
Sorry, Mr. Matthias, our director, Professor SOG. Let's appreciate him. If not for his support, this program would not have held. He is the one holding the umbrella. We are just standing under his umbrella.
Thank you for pointing that out. That was very, very important, sir. And so at this point in time, we have come to the end of this session. We look forward to having all of you back with us when the next session will be holding, God's grace, by hopefully sometime next month. And on that note, we want to say a goodbye and have a nice day on the side. Thank you. Please, Dr.